Game of the Year reflect the breadth of genres and the ingenuity of the creative teams. Here are the nominees for Game of the Year.
Game of the Year, one of the most controversial topics discussed around this time of the year. And we usually are nervous that, something stupid is gonna get nominated, like fucking Call of Duty, Destiny, or some other mindless piece of junk that's just gonna get picked over games that spend more creativity and devotion and hard work in their titles. Now, I was searching the net for nominations for Game of the Year, and here's what I found. We got 5 options this year: Persona 5, Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Players Unknown Battleground, also known as PUBG. I have no fucking idea how this got nominated. Okay, so let's point out a few obvious things. We got 2 Nintendo Switch exclusive games that both scored a 10 out of 10 on over 95% of the websites that reviewed them. You got 2 games within the same respective consoles battling it out for Game of the Year. So already Nintendo has a huge advantage thus far in the console wars, but not only that, their games are pretty much all exclusive, so it's just a win-win for them. So let's start off with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You got a game that is just oozing with beautiful scenery, free roam, creative gameplay, puzzles, and a challenging difficulty. Although the game may not have had the most impactful story as its predecessors, the game still shines as probably the top candidate for Game of the Year. And then you freaking got Super Mario Odyssey. God damn, look at this game! This is the type of game that just smacks the shit out of you with this nostalgic blast of charm and adventure that you probably haven't felt since you played old platformers back on Nintendo 64. This is the holy grail of gaming right now. This is what games should be aspiring to be. It's creative, fun, and I swear more than half of the time you are playing this game, you're gonna be having this goofy ass smile on your face like Mario games. In my opinion, the only thing that was holding this game back was some of the easy moon hunting. With 999 moons, it feels like a case of quantity over quality. You put like 20 moons all in one corner of the map instead of spacing them out per world across the entire map. I feel like if they had done something a little more challenging with the moon collecting, this possibly would smash every Mario game that has ever existed. Horizon Zero Dawn is this action-style role-playing game with a unique story, and visually, my god, this game really pushes the PS4 to its limits in the best possible way. The great thing about this game is I don't even think people mention that the fact that this game was released in the beginning of the year. This is one of the hardest times to release a game since so many of the new generation of gamers really just mention the most recent flavor of the month, and if they enjoy it a lot, they just immediately say, hey, this is definitely Game of the Year, not even remembering that they had played something much better in the first quarter of the year. I have friends who still mention this game regardless of its release date, and I personally think it's a good candidate. So then we got Persona 5, and now let me disclaim that I am a huge, and I mean huge, fan of the Shin Megami Tensei series since Persona 3, and I've went back and played a majority of their games, and let me tell you, there are no RPGs out there like Persona. It's the most stylish RPG game out there. It's half dating simulator, half RPG, dope looking anime characters, and usually a dark hidden story beneath the colorful cel-shaded art style. I got nothing but positive things to say about this series, let alone this game specifically, and it may not be the strongest candidate for Game of the Year, but I would definitely say it crushes the RPG competition this year. And then you got this fucking piece of shit here. Look, I'm gonna be fair. I personally don't know what's the fascination behind this game. I had this game once in my library in Steam, and it bugged so hard I could barely get out of the fucking menu screen, and the game just felt empty. I don't mean by player base, but I mean that the game lacked any type of personality or charm to it. It just felt like it was another third-person shooter with a larger scale of people and freedom to travel. But my god, I gotta admit that this game grew faster than any game I've ever seen on Twitch or Steam. It even beat out League of Legends a number of times on top watched game on Twitch, which is nearly unheard of from any game aside from Overwatch. But I'll just be real here, I have no idea how this game got nominated. Even the developer admits that he does not believe this should be Game of the Year, so yeah, just let that sink in. Now let me just give you my prediction. It's pretty straightforward. I think Legend of Zelda and Mario Odyssey are clearly the top 2 picks of who's going to win this year. Zelda games by default have this magnet of positivity that no matter how bad the game might actually be, the game actually always receives these ridiculously positive score and feedback from everyone. I'm not saying Breath of the Wild is a bad game whatsoever, but you have to admit Zelda games have this history of always getting a perfect score or damn near perfect. This goes the same for most new Mario games. People love Mario, it's just logic at this point that he is the staple of video games. Almost the world-renowned representative of gaming that is just admired by those who don't even play video games. So Odyssey definitely is not too far behind Legend of Zelda. So while this may be a unique game, Horizon Zero Dawn is great, but I feel like it's not anything special that we haven't seen in a PS4 title. It just feels like a cleaner version of what people have wanted in an action RPG that we haven't seen in a while. As I said before, Persona 5 has a special place in my heart because I grew up on the franchise, but it just isn't strong enough to hold a candidate up to the 2 big boys of Nintendo, because 60% of the people you mention Shin Megami Tensei to usually have the reaction of "the f is Shin Megami Tensei?" So it just isn't popular enough to really catch the eye of a majority of gamers out nowadays. And then you have PUBG. This game actually has a chance of winning, and that's the part that drives me nuts. This game could possibly win because of the complete opposite reason of Persona 5. Popularity. Not because the game is clean or well put together or, finished. This game just has dominated the top charts in player activity and Twitch streaming, and this game just isn't popular in one country. It checks out that this game is a global phenomenon, and it literally rides on the spot of being in the right place at the right time. So who knows? PUBG could actually pull it off. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Once again, these are just opinions. I could be 100% wrong, and for all we know, Horizon Zero Dawn could win. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. Kick that like button. And as always, stay beautiful, ladies and gentlemen.